Hi, so I'm Fatima Lara,
I'm Daniel Solis. I'm Carlos Perez.
I'm Erick,
and we're going to be teaching you lesson 6.6 on Algebra 2.
Now we're going to analyze y equals x plus 4 squared plus 2, then draw its graph. Alright, step number 1 is going to be to plot the vertex. Which is going to be -4 and 2. Alright, and then we're going to... Alright. Alright, so it's going to be -4 and then 2. Then we're going to do step 2, which is going to be to draw the axis of symmetry. Which is the answer going to be x equals -4, because this is where the vertex is. We're going to draw a line like this so we can know where it's at. And then finally, for step 3, we got to plot the points. Alright, the points are going to be x and y, x being -2, y being 6, x being -3, y being 3, x being -4, y being 2, x being -5, y being 3, and -6, y being 6. Alright, so first is going to be the first one, -2 and 6. Which is going to be right here. -3 and 3, which is going to be right here. -4 and 2, which is the vertex. -5 and 3, which is going to be right here. And -6 and 6, which is up here. Making the graph to come out to look like this. So I'm going to analyze the equation y equals x plus 3 squared plus 1. Then I'm going to draw the graph for the equation. But step 1 is going to be to plot the vertex, which is going to be -3, which is this point. And then I'm going to have to draw the axis of symmetry, which is the point -3 and 1. And I'm going to make a line to be able to show where it's at. And then I'm going to plot the numbers for the table, which is going to be -1 and 5, which is right here. -2 and 2, which is right here. -3 and 1, which is the vertex. -4 and 2, which is right here. And -5 and 5, which is right here. And that's going to be how to analyze and draw this equation.
On this next example, we're going to teach you how to write an equation in vertex form. So we're going to write y equals x squared plus 4x minus 3 in vertex form. The first thing you have to do is just rewrite the equation and complete the square. So you have to take 4x and just divide it by 2 and square it. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 squared equals 4. Now you have to plug it back in to this equation and balance it out. In order to do that, you will have to write it as y equals x squared plus 4x plus 4, and then minus 3 minus 4. Now you just solve. So it will be y equals x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus 7. Try not to make a mistake on adding or subtracting with negative numbers, which is confusing. So do that correctly. And so it will leave you to the answer of y equals x plus 2 squared minus 7. So what we did right there was factor this equation out, which we can do it. And in order to check if you factored it correctly, you can just work it on the side and do the actual multiplication using distributive property. So now with this equation that you left off with, you can tell that the vertex is -2, -7. And now you know, obviously, that the axis of symmetry will be x equals -2, and that's how you write an equation in vertex form. So now I'm going to teach you how to write y equals x squared plus 6x minus 2 in vertex form. The first step is to just rewrite the equation. So y equals x squared plus 6x minus 2. The next step is to complete the square. So it will be 6 divided by 2, and you square that answer, which will be 9. Now you have to add the 9 back into this original equation and subtract it by -2. So you will do this. Y equals x squared plus 6x plus 9, parentheses, -2 and minus 9. So now you just combine the like terms right here. Y equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. This will be -11. Now you can factor this, and it will be y equals x plus 3 squared minus 11. And now you know that your vertex will be -3 and -11. And your axis of symmetry will be -3, and that is your answer.
Equation for the parabola whose vertex is -1 and 2 and passes through the points 0 and 3. Alright, so the vertex is -1 and 2 points. Alright, and then we're going to plug in these points into this equation. Y equals a x alright, so then alright, so for y it's 3, and then a x 0 minus -1, and then k plus 2. Alright, and then we'll solve it. Plus 2. And then we'll get, so we subtract it on both sides to get a equals 1, and then we're going to write it in the equation. So it equals y equals 1 x plus 1 square plus 2. That's the answer. So another example, same type of problem. Write the equation whose vertex is 5 and -3 and passes through the points 4 and -1. So step 1, we're going to write down our vertex formula. Y equals a parentheses x minus h parentheses squared plus k. And then we're also going to write down what our values are. So h is going to be equal to 5, k will be equal to -3, x will be equal to 4, and then y will be equal to -1. Okay, so now for step 2, we're going to plug it in. So then y is equal to negative 1. Negative 1 equals a parentheses 4 minus 5 squared plus, well, minus 3. So then we're going to solve for it. Minus 3. Negative 1 squared is going to be equal to 1 anyways. Divide both sides by 1. A is going to be equal to 2. And you're going to replug that back into the equation since you already know what A is equal to. Y is equal to 2 parentheses x minus 5 squared minus 3. And that's your solution. So this is going to be another example from the previous one that we just presented. The question is, write an equation for the parabola whose vertex is negative 3, 0, and passes through negative 2 and 2. So step 1, you're going to use the vertex formula. The vertex formula is y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. And then you're going to use your points. Your points are going to be h is equal to negative 3, k is going to be equal to 0, x will be equal to negative 2, y will be equal to 2. So then now for your second step, you're going to try to plug it into the equation, this one right here. So y is going to be equal to 2. 2 equals a parentheses negative 2 minus negative 3 squared plus 0, or you can just leave that out since 0 doesn't matter. So then you're gonna solve for this one, and then 1 squared. So then 1 squared is still gonna be 1. So then you're just gonna divide it by 1. A is going to be equal to 2. And then for our final step, we're going to write it into the vertex formula. So then the vertex formula is y is equal to that. So then since you know a is 2, you can replace the a with 2 and then have it as x plus 3 squared. And then you can leave out the plus 0.